Metalheads, and welcome to episode 56 of the Harsh Vocals Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Corbett, and with me is my good friend, Christian Renner. How are you doing today, man?
Pretty good. Seems like we just did this. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so if you're not aware, we just recorded this episode back-to-back with the re-recording of episode 55 due to technical issues that happened. As I mentioned on that episode, I am recovering from being sick, and I've been talking for an hour and a half already, so my voice is suffering a little bit this episode, so I do apologize if it gets worse as the episode goes on, but I'll do my best.
Well, either way, your voice always still sounds better than mine.
Nah, I don't know if that's true. But this episode, we're going to do another more music episode because the previous 2 weeks of music have just been exceptional. There's been so much good stuff that's come out. 2026 continues to impress me. As slow as the start as we had, they've really just middle of the year continue to ramp up. Oh. And it seems like every single week there's just too many good albums to talk about. So we're going to continue doing more music as much as we need to. And that's what we're doing. So yeah, let's get to it.
This one here, if you're a regular listener to this show, I would be absolutely shocked if you don't like every single one of the songs we've picked.
I will be too.
This is it's probably one of our best playlists ever.
In a rare occurrence, Christian and I are in complete agreement about all of our 8 tracks we're going to play. Every single one is fantastic. So you guys are in for a treat this episode for sure. Yeah. So let's get to it.
So I'm gonna start out with the band Apolaustic. Apolaustic.
Apolaustic.
Say that?
It's Apolaustic. Apolaustic.
Apolaustic. Yeah. Not sure what that means. Maybe I should have looked that up. The album is called No Plenitude Without Suffering. We have mellow black with a little bit of death metal. From Switzerland. It didn't give a city. This is their debut, and they are on Transcending Obscurity Records. And like we always say, so you know it's good.
Yep.
The track that I picked is Fragments from a Misty Journey. This here is another one of those debut albums that simply feels fully formed. Going to assume the fact that this guy, Romain Negro, being the former vocalist for the band Stortregan, has something to do with that. This album just feels polished and way more like a third or fourth album rather than a debut. The way he blends his melody into his music is really, really impressive to me. And I want to say, not that this sounds all that similar, but I feel almost the same as I'm listening to this as I did when of that last Cavain album. I get a lot of the same feelings from it. Mm-hmm. Not that it sounds the same, but like the overall feel is where I'm really picking that up.
I can kind of see that, but this album is way less aggressive than that one is.
Yeah.
This one, I've looked up what Apolaustic means. It means devoted to the enjoyment of life and pleasure.
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah, well thinking about the album,
odd for a black metal.
It is odd for a black metal band name, but thinking about some of the songs, there is kind of an almost hedonistic tendency to the feelings that I get in some of the songs. Mm-hmm. So it does seem to kind of fit with what they've created here. I really like this album as well. I don't necessarily get the same vibe that I do from Cavain, but there's definitely some elements of it in there. Just this like feeling of being fleshed out and knowing exactly what you want to say and what you want to convey with the music. It definitely does feel a lot more well thought out.
Very, very confident.
Confident than a debut, but obviously he's a pedigreed musician and has some experience doing this, so it does make sense. It's a great album.
All right. So for my final thought, No Plenitude Without Suffering pulls you back and forth between beauty and violence until the line between the two simply disappears. And it's probably the best thing I can say about this album is the way he blends that melody into the aggression is just so well done. And I think you'll definitely hear it on this track.
Yeah, I think so too. So let's go ahead and play the track. Again, this is Apolaustic off of No Plenitude Without Suffering, and the track that you picked is Fragments of a Misty Journey.
Within the confines of my
What a killer song.
Yeah. Yep.
And just to give everybody a vocabulary lesson, in case you don't know what plenitude means, it means the state of being full or complete. So no fulfillment without suffering is what that means.
I can see that.
All right, well, moving on to our second pick for the episode. This one is mine. This is the band Aldheorte. They released an album called The Wild Divine. This is black metal from California, their second full-length album since 2023 on Solisticium Records. This is a two-piece band. One of the things that I love about this is that they're one of those black metal bands that just tremolo picks the entire time. And I really like that sound that creates. It works so well with this. It's frosty and it's harsh, but it also has a lot of those hopeful moments that we talk about in that Dodsrick kind of sound, where they somehow manage to create bright spots throughout the darkness. The track that I chose is The Wild Divine, the title track, because I thought that was the one that best illustrated the overarching sound of the entire album. There's a lot of variety here, though, so there are things you're going to hear in other songs that you won't hear in this one. Overall, they're not doing anything completely groundbreaking, but they're doing what they do exceptionally well. And I love this album. I heard this probably 15 times. It's fantastic. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it too. What did you think, Christian?
I actually really like this one as well. It felt very big, very expansive, and it has that definite nod to the old school. And, you know, the way they use the melody here really gives the album some serious emotional weight. There's parts of this where the melody sounds heavier than those tremolo picks. You're just like, wow. It just sounds very big.
Yeah, I think so too. I didn't really mention the epicness of it, but there are certainly parts that feel massive. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Let's go ahead and play the track. Again, this is Aldheorte off of The Wild Divine, and the track that I chose is the title track, The Wild Divine.
That is a great song. I actually really like that. That could very well be my favorite song on the album as well.
It's probably why they named the album that. I think so too.
Yeah, probably. All right, my next pick is a band completely 100% new to me. Not a surprise doing this. But the band is called Zerre, Zerre, Rotting on a Golden Throne. We have thrash/crossover from Würzburg, Germany. This is their 4th album on Dying Victims Productions. The track that I picked is the title track, Rotting on a Golden Throne. And there's a particular reason for that I will mention here in just a second. There is some serious power trip worship going on here. The track that I picked shows it, definitely. There's a certain part of that song that sounds a lot like Executioner's Tax. Not that they lifted it, but you can see where they're going. But yeah, you definitely hear it. And it just brings a smile to your face. I mean, I was really sad when Riley died because they were my next big thrash band from America, you know?
Yeah.
And I went back, and this is definitely some real growth, comparatively speaking. Their last album was good, but this one here just hits harder. And like you said, you'd only heard this album just last night.
Yeah.
Right?
Somehow this one wasn't on my radar. It wasn't on my list of stuff to listen to until you mentioned it as a potential pick. So I listened to it last night, and I was blown away at how good this is. For me, to say that about a thrash album, you know it's true. If I really, really enjoy it, you know it's an excellent album. This reminded me so much of their contemporaries Doomsday that released that album last year. I fucking love that Doomsday album. I still listen to it regularly, and I'll probably listen to this one throughout the entire year, and there's a chance this will make my top 30 for the year as well. One thing I thought was really interesting about the song you chose is that after the main part of the song is over, there's this like melodic bridge they have at the very end that's supposed to lead you into the next song, but they have included it at the end of this song instead of at the beginning of the next. So it's almost like this unusual little bonus you get at the end when you just listen to this, and I think it works really well. The whole album, though, is extremely varied. It's fast-paced, it's aggressive, but it's also fun and keeps you involved, keeps you excited. I'm really impressed with this, and I'm looking forward to listening to more of it.
I mean, my final thought is this album isn't reinventing thrash. It just cranks the aggression to 10, adds that sprinkling of groove, and go out of their way to prove that conviction can hit just as hard as originality.
I really like the guy's voice too, because that's his vocal delivery is more along those like shouted kind of vocals. I think it works exceptionally well with the kind of music they do.
Yeah, it's definitely got that crossover feel in his vocal style. So yeah, that works incredibly well for this. Yeah, very good album.
All right, let's go ahead and play the track. Again, this is Zerre, Zerre, off of their new album, Rotting on a Golden Throne, and the track that Christian chose is Rotting on a Golden Throne. Yeah, you see what I was talking about with that little outro part? I think it's really cool. It's like it's a really beautiful little snippet of a melody to end the song with.
And to be honest with you, if you're going to do something like that, I'd much rather have you do it at the end of a song than at the beginning of another song. I actually prefer it that way.
Most people won't care. Most people won't care because they're so used to the intro portions of songs. But you and I hear so many that are bad that having it as the outro just kind of makes it a nice little bonus for us.
Yeah. It is different. The first time I heard it, I was like, oh. It shouldn't really surprise you that much, but it kind of does.
Yeah. It's a great album, so definitely check that one out.
Yep.
Moving on to my next pick, this is the band Defacing God. They put out an album called Darkness is My Crown. This is symphonic black and gothic metal from Denmark, their second full-length album since 2015 on Apostasy Records. The vocalist for this is a woman, obviously. Her pseudonym is Sandy the Lilith. I don't really know much about her, but I really love her voice, to be honest. Like, she's able to hit those like lower growls, hit that higher register that most female black metal vocalists can do, and the viciousness that she conveys throughout this works really well with the more pretty symphonic elements that you have going on throughout the entire thing. There's a lot of really catchy songs in this album. There's a lot of diversity in this album, so it was really hard for me to choose a track to play because there's not one that really highlights what the whole album is about. The track that I picked is their single that they released, so I guess it's the one that the band felt best highlighted the album, and that's the track called Transition. But really, I could have picked any track because they're all fun. It's just, I don't think there's a great one to illustrate everything you're going to hear throughout the album. What did you think of this one, Christian?
I thought this was super epic sounding, in their symphonics. And I really appreciated that the symphonic elements weren't just layered on top like a lot of bands do. These were fully integrated. And I think that definitely made a big difference.
They established that from the first track, too. Like the very first track, it's like in-your-face symphonic elements from the beginning. Like it kind of explodes at you that way, and then the rest of it comes in. And I liked that. I agree with you. I thought the symphonic elements being so forward really added a lot to this album.
Did you listen to their older stuff?
I did not. I didn't have time.
I listened to their last album, and this one here definitely sounds darker. It's another band that's moving in a heavier direction, it seems like to me.
We're all for that.
Yeah. It seems like there's a lot less melodeath here as compared to their older stuff, and a lot more black metal taking its place.
Yeah.
Which, sweet. I'm 100% in on that. So keep it up, fellas. This album was fantastic.
I agree. And it's short, too. It's only like 36 minutes, I think. So I listened to it a bunch of times. I lost count. But anytime I wanted something fun, this is what I would put on.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and play the track. Again, this is Defacing God off of Darkness is My Crown. And the track that I chose is Transition. It's a great song. I think if you like symphonic black metal at all, you're going to love the whole album. And I would encourage you to go and listen to the whole album. But just be aware that there are a lot of songs that sound very different from this one. There are a lot of shorter, faster, more aggressive songs. And there's a couple that are longer and more slowed down as well. There's a lot of variety here, and it's all really good.
Alrighty. Moving along, my next pick is the band Vanir. The album is called Word, or Weird. Is it Word?
I think it's Weird.
Weird?
W-Y-R-D.
W-Y-R-D. We have Melodeath from Roskilde, Denmark. This is their 8th album on Mighty Music. The track that I picked is Against the Storm. Since switching to a more Melodeath style, I think this band have really hit another level. And this one here, I feel, is the best of this new direction thus far.
I agree.
I think they're really hitting their stride here. Lots of really big riffs here in the sense that they come across as bombastic almost, like a cinematic score for a war movie almost. The production is pitch perfect and really does a great job of building this overall extremely large soundscape that brings out what makes this album so good. And yeah, it just another one of those albums that gets better the more you listen to it. Because the very first time I heard this, I was like, all right, well, this is solid. It's solid. Not drastically better than their last album, but solid. And the more I kept coming back to it, the more it just started to move up. So my final thought is Weird leans into its Melodeath identity with enough force and hook-driven momentum that it easily wins you over with the incredible amount of killer riffs and its sheer persistence in those riffs. This is a great album. Is it going to be in my top 5? Probably not, but it's super solid, super fun.
I can see it making top 30, though. I mean, it's definitely an album
I can see it.
That has that potential. It just depends whether or not it has the staying power to be returned to over and over throughout the year. I had kind of a similar experience. Like the first time I listened to it, I thought this is really good, but it's not considerably better than their last album. But the more I've listened to it, the more I've loved it. And I think it's a fantastic album as well. There are still some of those folky kind of melodies throughout it, but they're not nearly as prominent as they used to be.
Yeah. I think that helps out a lot too. The folk element, you can take it too far and then you're way more of a folk band. And then if you don't do it enough, then it almost seems like it's tacked on. So it's a really hard line to
It's a razor's edge kind
follow.
of thing.
Yeah.
Like for some bands, they're able to seamlessly integrate those folk elements with whatever else they're trying to accomplish, and it works throughout the whole scope of what they're doing. For other bands, it's like there are folk parts and then death metal or black metal parts. And then for some, it's like there's just little sprinklings of it. Vanir has definitely evolved into the sprinklings portion of that. And I think it works really well for them and what they're doing. When they were more folky, their albums were still good. There were just parts that seemed longer and less appealing to me. I think this is their strongest album to date. This is a really good album overall.
There are bands out there that do the folk elements mixed with this more extreme stuff, and they do it incredibly well. But like I said, it's that razor's edge. What's the band that I'm thinking of? They had that album called Yachten's Tid. The different instruments that they were constantly using was like, there were even people were starting to call it polka metal because of the the accordions. They have a full-time accordion player.
I know I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name either of the band.
Yeah, I can't think of the name.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll think about it 2 minutes after we
finish recording. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and play the Vanir track. Again, Vanir off their new album, Weird. And the track that Christian picked is called Against the Storm.
Such a good song.
Yeah.
Such a good
Well
song.
titled, well written. It really does kind of feel like a guy
Nice
just
and aggressive.
screaming into a storm to try to fight it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that track, and I really like this album. All right, my next pick is an album that Christian and I both absolutely love, and I think for both of us is our second favorite album of the week, or of the episode. This is the band Hexenhorde. They put out an album called Sempiternal Witchery. This is death metal / thrash metal from Cleveland, Ohio. Their debut album since 2024. They're an unsigned band. The only person that I'm aware of in the band is Noah Buchanan, who you may know as the vocalist for Nunslaughter, is the same vocalist for this band. Lots of super fast songs. I think there's only like 1 or 2 that are over 2 minutes long. Most of them are under 2 minutes. Balls to the wall aggressive. It's funny, Christian didn't even have this one on his radar. Somehow he missed this on his list, and then I heard it, and I was like, wow, this is an easy pick for either one of us. Sent it to him, and of course he was blown away the same way I am. This album's extremely aggressive, extremely fun, very dark, well-produced, great vocal delivery, great guitar work, memorable melodies. It's the whole package, to be honest. I don't really know what else I can say about it except that it is fantastic, and you'll have a lot of fun listening to it. What did you think, Christian?
This is such a great album. And I mean, just an absolute riff machine with plenty of aggression, but it also never loses that element of fun that is just built into this. And at just over 30 minutes, it's a very easy album to recommend, but it will just fly by. I've probably listened to this album a solid 30 times, maybe even 40 by this point. And in this 2-week stretch, it is actually the album that I've listened to most, and only because my number one pick is an album that we had the promo for, so I've heard it for, probably about 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this Hexenhorde album, I was completely blown away by this. I absolutely, positively love this album, and it will be in my top 30 somewhere.
I'm pretty sure it will be for me as well. It's just so much fun, and it's one of those kind of albums that no matter what you're doing, you can toss it on and have a good time. It benefits active listening as well. I don't think it's available on vinyl. Did you look?
It is not.
I didn't see it anywhere.
Yeah.
But I would love to have it on vinyl. I think this would be a great one to listen to on the turntable. It's a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys feel the same way. Let's go ahead and play the track. The one that I picked is called Wraith of the Blackthorn Pyre. I got to say also, all the track titles are fucking killer on this.
Oh, yeah.
And all of them make you feel a certain way. There's one called like Screaming Scrying Skull or something like that. I mean, it literally feels like you're in a room with a guy where his skull's flying around. This one feels the same way. It's like you're watching a bonfire with ghosts. I love it. So Hexenhorde off their album Sempiternal Witchery. Again, the track is Wraith of the Blackthorn Pyre. So much fun.
Tell me that isn't fun.
Yeah, so much fun.
So much fun.
I picked that track because it's one of the longer tracks on the album, and it kind of does encompass everything you're going to hear. There's a lot of variety in the songwriting and in the vocal delivery. If you like that at all, you will love this album as much as we do. So definitely check it out. All right, moving on to Christian's number one.
That brings us, this brings us to my number one, which is an album that I've had for a couple of months now. And the very first time I heard this, there was absolutely no doubt in my mind it was going to be very high up in my end of year list, and it was probably going to be a pick, and more than likely the number one pick. And it is Hell Ripper, Coronach. We have black/speed metal from Aberdeen, Scotland. Their fourth album on Century Media Records. The track that I picked is Black Satanic Fuckstorm.
What a title.
Because how could I not?
What a title.
How could I not pick that? That was like, as soon as you saw that title on there, I was like, I don't give a shit what the fuck that song sounds like. That's going to be the song that we play. And it just happens to be a fantastic song.
I think it's probably the best one on the album. Not that they're all fantastic.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to start by saying I absolutely adore this album. Currently, my album of the year. And that's for one reason and one reason only. This album is an absolute blast. From beginning to end, it's just so much fun. Hell's Heroes last year gave me a whole new respect for these guys. He crushed so hard on stage. He was personable. And for this supposedly being a one-man project, his interplay with the rest of the band was great.
So much energy. The whole performance was like high octane, turned up to 11, maximum energy from beginning to end. And he was jumping into the crowd. He was crushing beers. He was living up to his reputation.
And it was beautiful to see.
Yeah, it really was.
Beautiful. This album is, to me, a huge jump forward, and I was a huge fan of his previous output. But this is something else. This is incredibly focused and tight with a veritable shit ton of energy. I think if I had to describe this in one word, it would be deliberate. And this is all done without losing any of the chaos that makes Hell Ripper so incredibly fun to begin with. The songs are longer. They're more intense, it feels like. You can tell a lot of care was put into this album. Not that there wasn't care in his previous albums, but this one here feels, more
intentional.
Maybe, more intentional, more professional. Like he's definitely hitting his stride. This is easily my favorite album from Hell Ripper.
Mine too. And I wasn't even...
Yeah, it's so good.
I wasn't even a massive fan of Hell Ripper before Hell's Heroes. Like, I had heard all their albums and I liked them well enough, but the speed metal thing, it's not always what I'm drawn to. It's not an album that I toss on very often, but I was aware of Hell Ripper. I liked them well enough. Once I saw that performance, though, I was like, wow, I get it. This album, though, is absolutely his strongest album to date. I like the longer form songwriting. I like some of the experimentation he's done on this compared to his previous albums. There's a lot more variety. It's all around just a fantastic album, and I'm in agreement with you. It's most likely going to make my top 30. I don't know if it's going to be my album of the year because I'm not as drawn to this type of music as you are, but I can say with pretty certain statement that it's going to be in my top 30. And I've listened to this just as much as you. I got it 3 months ago as well. I've probably heard it 40 times by now. In this genre, I can't imagine anything better.
It doesn't get better than this.
It's fantastic. Just a fantastic piece of work, and he should be very proud of this.
Okay, my final thought. Coronach doesn't slow Hell Ripper down in the slightest. Everything is just more focused and sharp, tightening the chaos into that focus and adding even more hooks. Somehow it comes across even more dangerous and precise than his other output. And this is my current album of the year. And Black Satanic Fuckstorm.
What a title. Let's play the track.
Yeah.
Again, Hell Ripper off Coronach, and as Christian just said, Black Satanic Fuckstorm. Enjoy it.
You just can't stop saying that, Black Satanic Fuckstorm.
I love how he, spelled it as well. It's BLAKK Satanic FVKK Storm.
And Satanic is spelled with a K.
Oh, it is. You're right. I missed that. So, yeah, he's keeping it cult, and it's working for him.
Oh, yeah. And again, I will love anybody that is having a good time. And you can tell he is having a good time.
Definitely. All right, well, let's move on to someone who's not having a good time. Christian and I were talking about this before the show. Whenever the world is shit, whenever our lives are shit, Christian's always drawn towards stuff like Hellripper. Fun, enthusiastic, fast, aggressive music. It makes him feel better. I like to wallow in it. I like to find music that's sad and emotional. And so, the world sucks right now, and that explains a lot about our picks. But my number one pick for the episode is the band Bedrängnis. That's Bedranngnis. They released an album called Stiller Abscheid. This is black metal from Switzerland, their second full-length album since 2020. These guys are unsigned. It's a two-piece, a guy named Ashma, who does everything except the drums, and a guy named Fwath, who does the drums. The best way that I can describe this band is that if you took everything that's amazing about Harakiri for the Sky and then geared the songwriting towards a more dark black metal style and then did black metal vocals instead of doing the shouted vocals that Harakiri does, you would get pretty damn close with Bedrängnis. There's tons of melody. There's tons of tremolo picking. There's tons of emotion in every single song. And usually it is sad or anger emotions. Not a lot of hope in this album, although there are a few bright spots and a few hopeful spots in some of the songs. It's kind of a depressing album, but God, is it beautiful, and it resonates with me so well. I couldn't get enough of this. I've been listening to it nonstop since I very first heard it. Easily my favorite album of this entire cycle, and there was a lot of great stuff that came out. This is going to most likely make my top 10 list for the year because it's everything that I love about Harakiri, which is, as you know, my favorite band, but with more black metal added to it, which, how am I not going to love it?
Yeah. The very first time I heard this, I was like, oh, fuck, this is definitely going to speak to Justin. This thing is dense. It is very dense and pained. Like I was telling Justin before we started to record, like it felt like the lead singer was setting up a rope to hang himself with as he's doing the vocals. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, it's going to be okay. I almost feel like we should do a safety check on the guy. Just maybe you okay, buddy? But yeah, this is just very well done. I'm usually not drawn to depressive black metal all that much, mainly because I don't like to wallow in it. But man, this is, when you're talking depressive black metal, this is what you want. Yeah. This is how you want it.
Well, yeah, for me especially, like a lot of depressive black metal is almost too forceful in the depressing aspects of it. And while there are a lot of depressing moments in this, and there is a lot of despair in the lyrics and the vocal delivery, there's also so much beauty in the melody and so much amazing guitar work throughout this album that it almost makes it more palatable. You know, I mean, for me, it's not really an issue, but I think for anybody who's less drawn to that kind of music, this could be like a great step in that direction. If you're not used to dealing with those super dark, emotional kind of albums, I hesitate to call it a gateway album because it's not, but it's maybe like a next step sort of album. I absolutely adore this. This will be an album that's on constant repeat for me throughout the year. They do have it available on vinyl. I haven't ordered it yet, but I'm going to. It comes from Switzerland, so it's somewhat expensive.
Ugh.
But this is one that I have to have on vinyl, and I can't wait to listen to it in that format. So, anyways, let's back.
I think...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, there's just one other thing that I want to say about it is, if anybody's dealt with depression, you can kind of see what you know, like the happy moment. There are happy moments on this album, and like you were talking, the Dodsworth effect. And if anybody's dealt with depression, that you're rarely ever constantly sad. There's going to be moments where you think things are getting better, and then you realize a couple of days later, no, they're not. You have that moment. and that little brightness. And so...
Yeah, this album's kind of a perfect metaphor for that moment. I think that's true. Anyways, it was really hard for me to pick the song to play for this album because every single moment, every single song is very different from the song before it. The one that I ended up choosing was Echo der Schöpfung, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, because it's one of the shorter songs. It's a little bit more riffy than some of the others, so it might be a little more appealing just for the average listener. But it still has just those incredible emotionally driven melodies and that vocal delivery, which I love. That said, I think there are better songs. They're just longer, like 6, 7, 8 minute long songs on the album. So in the interest of the show, I picked one of the shorter songs. But I do encourage you, if you like this, to go and check out the whole album because I'm so impressed with it. So again, this is Bedrängnis off of Stiller Abschied, and the song that I chose is Echo der Schöpfung. Hope you enjoy it.
Bedeutung ist ein Geräusch. Warte lange genug und es verstummt.
Welt aus Stahl und Erde.
I love that melody. I love how everything's layered in that song. So good. Just so good.
Well, I just looked that up because Stille Abschied is actually German, and it actually means silent farewell.
That's an apt title.
Yeah. Especially for this album, a silent farewell, depressive black metal. Yeah, that sounds depressing.
So, Echo der Schöpfung roughly translates to echoes of creation. I like that too. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of deep thoughts in this fucking album.
Yeah, there really is. And I love that. I love when there's substance lyrically as well, because it adds something to everything else.
Yeah, especially when everything else speaks to you.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, that does it for our picks. Now let's move on to our honorable mentions, and I know we have quite a few this time. So, Christian, you can go first.
Yes, we do. I will start out with the band Power Paladin. There's going to be quite a bit of power metal and traditional metal in Prague, actually. So the very first album is Power Paladin Beyond the Reach of Enchantment. This is power metal from Reykjavik, Iceland, their second album on Reigning Phoenix Music. I was a huge fan of their first album, and this one here is better. Yeah, this is a great album. And if you like Fellowship, Majestica, or Sonata Arctica, you're going to like Power Paladin. Then my next honorable mention is Myrath, Wilderness of Mirrors. This is Prague from Zerre, Tunisia. This is their seventh album on Ear Music. And if you like Orphanland, Vandenplas, or Symphony X with a tint of Middle Eastern folk, it's a very small tint of Middle Eastern folk. So if that doesn't speak to you, give this a shot anyway. It's not over the top. Then we have the band Tomorrow's Outlook. The album is called Black Waves. We have progressive power metal from Sorvik, Norway. This is the third album on Battle God Productions. And for fuck's sake, forever and a day, you couldn't find somebody that sounded like Bruce Dickinson of Iron Maiden. But the last two shows in a row, I found two that sound a lot like Bruce Dickinson. And
so what you're saying is this band's not for me.
Yeah, it is not for you. If you mixed Iron Maiden with like Tad Morose, Blind Guardian, or the band Pyromaze, you're going to get close to their sound. Just that little bit of prog that's in there. Next, we have Green Carnation, A Dark Poem Part 2, Sanguis. We have goth rock / metal from Norway. This is their eighth album on Season of Mist. If you like Anathema, Amorphous, Catatonia, but all softer than those.
Without all the good parts, you'd have Green Carnation.
They got me years ago with, I can't remember the name of the album, but it was an hour long and it was just one song. Mm-hmm. And I was so impressed with that album, how well they were able to pull that off. Woo.
I remember everybody in our friend group raving about it, and I was like, okay, well, I'll check it out. It was so hard to get through it even once just because of the vocals. Green Carnation is absolutely not for me, but if they added in more harsh vocals, they'd be a fantastic band because their melodies are great. The guitar work's fantastic. The drumming's great. It's just that singer can't do it.
Then next is, I'm probably going to butcher this, Malauriu. Malauriu.
That's a tough one.
Using that.
Malauriu.
Yeah,
something like that.
The album is called The Third Nail. We have black / punk, originally from Italy, but now from London. This is their third album on Adirondack Black Mass Records. And if you like Midnight or Hell Ripper, you're going to like Malauriu.
I don't know if I'm would say
it's
Midnight or Hell Ripper, because they're not so much speed metal. They're more of like a classic mellow black that's a little bit faster, I thought. This is a pretty good album, especially for a debut. There's some bloat on it, which is the reason that it didn't end up a pick or an honorable mention for me. Also, that horrendous cover. I really don't like the AI-generated guy in a hood cover thing. But the music was pretty good. There's some definite talent there. They can learn to edit. I think they'll go pretty far and get a better art designer for their covers, for sure.
Well, My last two are definitely better. We have Nervosa, Slave Machine. We have thrash/death metal from Brazil. Their 6th album on Napalm Records. For fans of Destruction, Creator of Sodom. They used to be a bit more Bay Area sounding than German thrash, but this leans way more European thrash. I think there's a constant influx of new people in this band. I think every single record has new people in it. So I'm not exactly sure who's in this band anymore, but their sound does seem to change from album to album. And this one here is feels like way more European thrash than it does American thrash. So take that for what it's worth. Then finally, we have Non Est Deus, Blessing and Curses. We have black metal from Bamberg, Germany. They're 5th from Noisebringer Records. And if you like Uada, Groza, Garia, or Dodsrit, well, a Garia Dodsrit blend.
Or Canon and Fever.
Yeah. You do the same thing. Canon and Fever, yeah.
It's the same guy behind both bands.
Yeah. Any of these will work. I actually really enjoyed this album. It was really close to being a pick.
I like their last album more than this
amount
one.
Of bloat.
It does have like a tiny amount of bloat, but also like the first 2 tracks of the album do that thing that I hate, where he just says the song title over and over again, which is really rare in black metal, but for some reason he did it. I'm also not really sure what the driving message is of the album, because Non Est Deus, Not of God, whatever, like his previous album was very blasphemous. You know, if you want to put it a certain way, this one, it's almost like the exact opposite. Like a lot of the songs are almost pro-religion sounding, which was really strange to me, the approach he's taken. If you listen to the lyrics, musically though, this thing's a banger. It is a super fun album. I'm just unsure about what message he's trying to deliver in some of the songs. And then also, I don't like those first 2 songs that much because of the repetitive lyrics. But the latter half of the album, absolutely fantastic. So that was my only real nitpicky complaint about it.
And that's all I have.
All right. Well, moving on to mine. First up is the band Rivers Ablaze. They put out an album called In External Dread. This is progressive black and death metal from Hungary. Their 5th full-length album since 2019. This is a great album. This was almost a pick for me, almost a pick for you. The cleans are okay. They like tiptoe up to my threshold for tolerance. And most of the time they stay on the right side of it. There are a couple moments where they step over that line. And that's the only reason it ended up as an honorable mention for me. But I mean, the cleans are like 10 to 15% of the album. They're not overbearing and there's not a lot of them. There's just a couple of songs where they annoy me. And that's just personal preference.
I actually looked this one up because I was thinking about making it a pick. And did you know there's members here from Seer, Bliss, and Tyr?
No, I didn't.
So it's really not that surprising that they're this good, because Seer Bliss is a very good band, and Tyr is definitely a very good band. They're one of the few that do the folk stuff very, very, very well. Mm-hmm. I guess the guy from Tyr is also a former vocalist for Serenia, which is also another good band. So yeah, 3 good bands there.
Cool.
So not really a huge surprise that they're this good.
No, but it's a fantastic album. Like I said, it was right on the cusp of being a pick for both of us, I think. Mm-hmm. One of the strongest honorable mentions of this episode for sure.
Yeah.
Next is the band Winter Phyleth, who you should probably already be aware of since they've been around since the early 2000s. They released a new album called The Unyielding Season, atmospheric black metal from England, their 9th full-length album on Napalm Records. I think this is fantastic. It's just more of Winter Phyleth. It does suffer a little bit from what all atmospheric black metal does, which is moments of bloat. But overall, it's a killer album. Definitely one that I'll be returning throughout the year. I like atmospheric black metal. I like those slower moments. It's hard to do that without feeling bloated sometimes. So, did you like this one?
I did not. I listened to it twice in the car, and that is definitely not a place to listen to atmospheric black metal, especially if it's slow. But I listened to it when I got home, too, and it was better at home while I was doing other things, and then it just faded out to me. I had to focus on it if I was going to listen to it, and it Winter Phyllis has never really done it for me. So
I like their last album a whole lot. This one I like, but not as much as their previous. And I like some of their older albums more than this one too, I think. So it's not that it's a bad album at all. It's just not as memorable, I guess. Like they're not really taking any risks.
Yeah.
So it's good. If you like Winter Phyllis, check it out.
This almost feels like it could be leftover songs from another recording session.
Some of the songs definitely feel that way. Yeah. Moving on. Next is the band Antrish, Antrisch, Expedition 3, Renitenzpfad. I'm sure I butchered that. Atmospheric black metal from Germany. Their second full length since 2020 on AOP Records. I actually like this one a whole lot more than their last one. Their last one had a lot of really flowery, slow, atmospheric moments in it that felt extremely bloated to me. This one, they're a lot more succinct, and there's a lot more great black metal moments. It's still got some of that stuff, but it's just the nature of atmospheric black metal. They're definitely tightening up their sound, though, so this is an improvement, and it's a really solid album. So if you like atmospheric black metal, definitely check it out. Next is the band Growth, Under the Under, technical / avant-garde death metal from Australia. Their second full-length album since 2019 on Wild Thing Records. So before I say anything about this one, I want to hear Christian's take. What did you think of this one?
It was right on the edge of being an honorable mention for me, to be honest with you. And it missed out just on my last round of cuts. I don't want to spend 20 minutes doing honorable mentions, so I usually try and keep it between 8 to 10. And so this here just missed the last round of cuts. But I thought it was excellent. And I thought the band name was weird. Growth. It's kind of weird, but whatever. Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it for the most part. It's very experimental. It does a lot of really weird things in the songwriting. There are some cleans that sometimes are really good and sometimes aren't my cup of tea. It's a very hard to pin down album because they do so many various things in all the songs, and none of the songs sound the same. That said, there are moments in here that are just like, wow, that's so cool. And there's a lot of those moments. So it was definitely memorable to me. This is a band that I will keep my eye on and look forward to seeing what they do next, because there's a lot of talent here. They just need to figure out what they want their sound to be. And then I think it'll be a much more cohesive album. Next is the band Asylum TX. They released an album called Cultus Ignaxia. This is technical death metal from Fort Worth, Texas, their third full-length album since 2012, and my first time hearing them. This is a really great, straightforward tech death album. No bells and whistles, nothing super flowery or special about it, just extremely solid. I was very impressed with these guys, and hopefully since they're in my neck of the woods, I'll get to see them live at some point. So I enjoyed it a lot. Next is the band Pauldron. I love this album title, Too Ancient to Be Holy. It's a fucking great title. Dungeon synth and black metal from Norway, their fifth full-length album since 2022. This is the solo project of Mads Smebak, if I'm saying that right. I did listen to their previous two albums, and they're much more dungeon synth oriented than this one is. This one's more of a straightforward black metal album. It just has keyboards in it. I thought the songs were really great. Nothing super innovative or anything, but there's a lot to like here. It just needs some editing and maybe some work with the production. It sounds very thin in places. And it's like inconsistently thin. Like some songs sound like a lot of time was put into the production and other ones feel less. Still, the songs are great. So I'd recommend it if you like black metal with keyboards. Next is the band Fathomless, who you may remember we had as an extreme submission a few episodes ago. The new album, To Thy Desolation, progressive black metal from Oklahoma City. Their second full-length album since 2024, currently unsigned. Tyler Blake is the main guy behind the band, the songwriter and everything. He's also in Ashenheart, as so many other bands we talk about are. Now that I've had a chance to hear the full album, I think it's fantastic. There were some that I liked a little bit more, which is why they ended up as picks, but on a weaker week, this could have been a pick. It's a really great, straightforward black and death metal album. Did you listen to this?
This would have been a pick for me for the last episode. Mm-hmm. Easily would have been a pick on the last episode. This 2 weeks was just too strong.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too.
I wouldn't have known what I was going to cut.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how I feel too. It's like there were a couple of honorable mentions that were stronger than this, and then everything that got picked as well. So it was probably like the 10th best album this cycle, but out of 130 albums that came out, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Next is the band Malum. They put out an album called From the Void, black metal from Norway, their second full length since 2020. This is kind of just traditional Norwegian black metal, very dark, very ominous sounding, just very straightforward, good black metal. And then finally, my last honorable mention is the band Nycteria. They put out an album called Hypnosis, which is death and black metal from Finland. Their debut album since 2017. They're currently unsigned. Super impressive debut. They kind of remind me about of Necrophobic, just, with a little bit less production value. There's a lot to like here. I'm really excited to see what happens next with these guys. So if you like black death metal, they're a good one to check out for sure.
I was super impressed. And I didn't have this on my list, and I didn't know about it until you told me about it last night, and I listened to it last night. And yeah, this easily would have been an honorable mention for me too, and would have been high up as an honorable mention.
Yeah.
I've probably listened to it 3 times now. And
wow. I didn't tell you about it until like 11 p.m. last night.
Yeah. And I listened to it again this morning. I've been up since 4 a.m. I listened to it first thing this morning, and probably again about 8 as I was finishing up my notes. But yeah, fantastic album.
Yeah, it's really good. And that does it for our honorable mentions on this episode. So let's move into our pickups. Have you picked up anything cool, Christian?
I have. I picked up the new Myrath album that I mentioned just a bit ago. Myrath, Wilderness of Mirrors. I just picked that up. I picked up the new Mega Colossus album. I'm a big fan of Mega Colossus. I really think they should be bigger than they really are. They have some just very good traditional metal albums that the guys in MSR Cast will definitely agree with me on this one. They're just a fun band. Then I got the Fire Magic album, Memories of Fire In. Of course, Hell Ripper, Koronach. There's no way I wasn't going to get that. Also, My Lamp of Murmur showed up, The Dreaming Prince in Ecstasy, and the Valdrin album, Beyond the Forest, from Blast Beats Vinyl, the exclusive
yeah, we didn't really mention that, but it's a re-recording that came out. It could have easily been an honorable mention as well. If you're not familiar with Valdrin, they're one of the best modern melodic black metal bands in the U.S. I think they should be up there with Stormkeep and Wayfarer and, Uada, as the modern renaissance of black metal in the U.S. Valdrin's absolutely fantastic, and this is a re-release of, I think, their third album, re-recording of their third album. It sounds fantastic, but it wasn't new, so we didn't put it as a pick or an honorable mention.
But there are so many really good American black metal bands right now.
Yeah.
It is kind of crazy how much talent is out there.
Why is there not like a great black metal festival in the U.S., though? I don't know. Yeah. There needs to be one.
I don't know. There definitely does. And let's see. Finally, the last thing that I got is the band The Donnas, the album Spend the Night. That is a great album.
You always have like one curveball album.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Donnas, man.
All right. Well, I haven't picked up that much. I did go ahead and order that Fire Magic album on vinyl. I'm going to order the Bedrengus, but I haven't yet. And then one thing that's been occupying most of my free time lately that I wanted to briefly talk about was the game Crimson Desert. I know it's not really music related, but I've been having an absolute blast playing Crimson Desert. I'm like 100 hours in, and I'm still, I just left the first region of the game yesterday after 100 hours. There's like an infinite amount of stuff you can do in this game. It's crazy. If you're not familiar with Crimson Desert, it's a big open world sandbox action game, kind of like RPG elements built in, but the game has everything. It's got mechs and dragons and steampunk stuff, and it's just really cool. I'm having such a blast with it. And if any of our listeners are also playing it, I'd love to geek out about it with you. So feel free to reach out. I'm completely addicted at this time.
Again, a 30-pound bag.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, that does it for pickups. Let's move into our extreme submission for the episode. This one comes from the band Ucalegon or Ucalegon. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's Ucalegon. They released a single called Chatelaine is the solo project of RJ Graffland from California. So this is black and death metal. Really great melody. He did some sampling from a movie. I'm not sure which movie it is that he put at the very end of the song, which I kind of liked. A lot of the time when you hear like intro kind of samples, they're always at the beginning of songs or in the middle. Very rarely do I hear them as an outro kind of thing. So I thought that was kind of an interesting take. My only real complaint about the song is that the production is a little bit thin, but I mostly like rawer black metal, so it doesn't really bother me much, but I know Christian's going to have a problem with it specifically for that. That said, the song's really good. There's a lot of melody. There's a lot of changes. I kind of like that shouted vocal style thing he does in the middle of the song. It's a pretty good track, and I'm excited to hear more from this band. What did you think, Christian?
I actually, believe it or not, I actually like this. I'm not exactly sure how they're doing this, but this sounds modern while sounding like a band straight from the early 2000s, but with a modern sound. I'm not exactly sure what it is, how they're doing that, but it just always gave me that vibe. And I would have absolutely butchered the name of this band.
That's true.
I am so glad you did it. I am so glad you did it. Because, yeah, that would have been terrible. But, yeah, I fully enjoyed this, and I'd definitely be... I'd be in on this album.
Yeah, me too. It's good stuff. So hopefully our listeners enjoy it as well. I do want to remind everybody to follow us on all of our social media. You can find us pretty much everywhere as @HarshVocalsSite. You can also email us at harshvocalsjc@gmail.com or harshvocalscr@gmail.com. We're happy to get submissions. Any bands out there that want us to play their stuff on the show, feel free to send it. We have a lot of them coming through, and sometimes it's overwhelming. We're trying to find the best of the best to play. More is always welcome. Also, I want to thank all of our listeners for being patient with me, for being sick, and for screwing up the technical stuff on the last episode. Hopefully that won't happen again, but I do apologize for the long break between the episodes, and I'm glad we're getting back to our regular schedule now.
Well, to be completely honest with you, it's pretty impressive that we haven't had any sort of technical issues before now.
Yeah, that's true.
Made it 55 episodes. That's a pretty good run.
It's true. It's true. So nobody should be too mad about it, hopefully.
No, you shouldn't.
All right. Well, again, let's go ahead and play the track. It's Ucalegon off of their new, well, they don't have an album yet, but they have a single called Chatelaine, which is available on Bandcamp and Spotify and Ampwall. If you like this, let them know. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will see you back in a couple of weeks.
Hopefully.
do. If we could get away with it, it would sure be better.